신단을 달리는 에코 델타시티의 일상부터 가덕도 신공항의 하늘길, 그리고 유라시아와 북극을 잇는 북극 항로까지 세계를 향한 거침없는 도약, 그 엔진은 바로 부산 사람입니다.
우리가 부산입니다.
우리가 부산입니다.
우리가 부산입니다.
당신의 자부심이 부산의 미래를 만듭니다. 이 캠페인은 대선공익재단과 부산영어방송이 함께합니다. 모든 지식을 인공지능이 찾아주는 시대. 하지만 정답을 찾는 기술보다 중요한 것은 세상을 새롭게 바라보는 눈입니다. 예술을 경험한다는 것은 익숙한 세상을 새롭게 바라보게 하고, 예술을 교육한다는 것은 인공지능 시대에 맞는 인재를 키우게 합니다. 바다를 품은 자연과 활기찬 도시의 일상이 예술이 되고 영감이 되는 곳. 부산이라는 거대한 도화지 위에서 창의력이 피어나고 상상력이 자라납니다. 예술로 생각이 자라는 도시, 예술도시 부산. 이 캠페인은 창의적 사고로 예술을 키우는 동서대학교 앵커 사업단과 부산 영어방송이 함께합니다.
We are the Zero Waste Rangers.
To save Mother Earth, just remember the 5 R's. Would you like a bag for that?
No thanks. I brought my own bag. Number 1, refuse. Just say no to things you do not need.
This shirt is so out of style.
Why not take it to a flea market? Number 2, reduce. Buy only what you need and share with your neighbors.
1 iced Americano coming right up.
Can I get that in my tumbler? Number 3, reuse. Single use, that's not how we do things.
This is such a hassle. Let's just throw it all in together.
You've got to peel off the labels and rinse them out. Number 4, recycle. Rinse it, peel it, and recycle properly.
This looks different from other sponges.
It's a biodegradable loofah. Number 5, rot. Choose a product that returns to nature.
Refuse, reduce,
Reuse, recycle,
and rot. The 5R pledge to protect our planet.
Want to be a friend of BFM 부산 영어 방송? You can chat with BFM through our Kakao Talk service. You can share your messages and photos through Kakao Talk, and you can easily become BFM's Kakao friend by searching BFM through the Find a Friend option. Come share and chat with us at BFM anytime, anywhere for free. Don't forget to add BFM 부산 영어 방송 to your Kakao friends list.
지금 방송 광고라는 부메랑을 던져보세요. 소비자를 향해 정확히 날아가는 광고. 힘차게 돌아가는 경제. 부메랑처럼 다시 기업의 이익으로 되돌아오니까요. 방송 광고, 경제에 큰 힘이 됩니다. 부산 방송광고발전협의회.
The time is now 7 o'clock.
All right. The good news is it is Friday, but I do need to ask you, did you tune into the South Korea versus South Africa match yesterday morning? We all know what happened by now, right? The Korean national team conceded a goal in the 63rd minute, and the costly defeat now sees Team Korea in this kind of waiting game. The 8 best teams among the third-place teams can advance to the round of 32, so it's not completely over. South Korea currently sits in 4th place among the 12 third-place teams. That's as of broadcast time. And of course, this is expected to change as the rest of the group stage matches are played out. I'm going to ask you a question and be nice with the comments. What did you think of yesterday's match? I'm Catherine. This is Morning Wave in Busan on Friday, June 26th on BEFM, 부산 영어 방송. Good morning, Wavers. It is Friday. We have made it together to this very important day. Why is it important? Because we're heading into the weekend. But not quite yet. We got to get through Friday morning, the entire day of today. And then for most of us, if you're on the Monday to Friday schedule, we can enjoy the weekend. So I asked you in the opening what you thought of yesterday's match. And I just wanted to throw that out there because I feel like yesterday I was looking through some of the chats. A lot of people were venting. However, it's not completely over. Not yet. There is a chance. I'm not a stats person, but, I did my due diligence. I looked it up. So we're sitting in 4th right now. There is a chance that we could advance to the round of 32. We'll talk about that later. However, our text topic is very much related to our opening. Who is your favorite current football player? And both Korean and international. All right. 현재 내 최애 국내 해외 축구 선수는 현재, meaning right now. I'll go first since I have the mic. Obviously my favorite, and it's been this way for a while. I affectionately call him my 해외 조카님, 손흥민. For non-Korean, I'm going to go with Michael Olise. He's a French player, born in England, but plays for France. He plays for Bayern Munich, and he has this creativity, this dribbling, this flair. And he's so smooth. So right now, he is my favorite non-Korean player. You can send in your responses to BFM's live stream live chat on YouTube. Go to the YouTube platform and type in BEFM 부산 영어 방송 to find our channel. And then you can subscribe, log in, and chat with other wavers. Also, from your phone, pound 9050, shop 9050. That's going to cost you 100 won. You can also reach me for free on Kakao Talk. Same thing there. You got to find our account. BEFM 부산 영어 방송 will take you there. And then once you find our account, you can add us as a friend, and then you can send in your messages. Send in photos too if you like. You can tune into Morning Wave in Busan in several different ways. 90.5 or 103.3 FM on the radio if you're in the Busan area. We are streaming live right now on YouTube. Come check us out. We're also available on the BEFM app and Patbang app. Both are free and easy to download. All right, so here's the lineup for today. We have Jian for Now in Busan, Haley for Top Stories. That's in hour number 1. Hour number 2, Waggle Tea Time. We have Casey coming in for Foreign Press Highlights. Also, Professor Andrew Millard, 안 교수님, to take us out for Friday, Global Affairs, for a special interview. I've always wondered this, and you might have also. Okay, in this economy, vegetables, fruits, but vegetables can very much be expensive, right? And is it okay to eat frozen or canned veggies? Any foods that are canned or frozen? Because there's kind of this conception, and we'll be updated on this with our expert later on, that maybe they're not as healthy. So let's find out in hour number 2 with our expert. For now, we're going to turn to Jian for Now in Busan. Good morning.
Happy Friday.
Yay. I am so happy it's Friday. Really? Because it's been a week. However, I do want to ask you our text topic. Who is your favorite Korean soccer player and non-Korean?
Non-Korean, both. I'm not a huge fan of
soccer. Okay, just one.
I'm a little old-fashioned, maybe.
Okay.
So my favorite should be 안정환.
Oh.
And also the
Yes.
이천수 선수 from back then.
Oh, back in the day.
네.
Oh, okay,
Right.
okay.
Yes, I think he's just so nice. And even he's looking. So
Are we talking about 안정환 or?
안정환 선수.
I mean, everybody has their preferences, so I had to ask. Okay.
Both of them, they're a good player, soccer players, right?
Yes.
Yes. Brilliant.
Yes, they're good looking when they play soccer. Okay. Well, we got to get into some local news.
Yes.
And we had a maritime accident yesterday near Busan's eastern waters. What happened?
Yes, a fishing vessel that collided with an LPG carrier off the coast of Kijanggun County has now resulted in the death of the vessel's Korean captain, and 2 Indonesian crew members are still missing.
This is a tragedy then. Can you walk us through what happened with this accident?
The incident occurred at around 10 a.m. yesterday on the 25th, about 23 nautical miles southeast of Taebyun Port in Kijanggun County. A 992-ton LPG carrier carrying 12 crew members collided with a 79-ton trawling fishing vessel carrying 8 people.
And what was the immediate impact of this collision?
The fishing vessel sank after the impact. 6 of the 8 crew members were rescued by the LPG carrier, while 2 Indonesian crew members in their 30s remain missing.
Well, what about the condition of the rescued crew members?
Among the survivors, the Korean captain was transported to a hospital in critical condition, and he was later pronounced dead around 1:30 p.m. the same day. The remaining 5 rescue crew members were treated for hypothermia and are receiving medical care.
And what's the latest on the search and rescue and plus the investigation?
Search operations continued throughout the night with Coast Guard vessels, naval ships, aircraft, nearby fishing boats, and even government patrol vessels combing the area. Aircraft also carried out wide-area nighttime searches using illumination flares. President Lee Jae-myung ordered authorities to mobilize all available resources for the rescue operation and to make every effort to locate the missing crew members. Authorities plan to question survivors and the LPG carrier's crew as part of a full investigation into the cause of the collision.
Right, so of course, search and rescue of utmost importance, but also to find out what caused this.
Exactly.
So it doesn't happen again. All right, thanks for reporting on this. Next, I hear we have an update on Korean shipping activity in and around the Strait of Hormuz. What's the latest?
1 additional Korean-operated tanker has successfully transited the Red Sea as shipping routes continue to adjust in response to disruptions in the Strait of Hormuz.
Can you explain the Red Sea transit first?
This marks the 10th Korean tanker to pass through the Red Sea since the Strait of Hormuz situation escalated. The vessel departed from Yanbu port in Saudi Arabia carrying crude oil bound for Korea.
Yes. How many ships and crew are still affected that are still inside the Strait of Hormuz?
So for now, 18 Korean-operated vessels remain inside the Strait of Hormuz. A total of 108 Korean nationals are still in the area, including 75 aboard Korean flag ships and 33 on foreign flag vessels.
Yes, and of course, we're hoping that they are safe and sound, so that's good to hear. All right, we're going to move on to our next story for now. I hear that the rules for protecting port workers from heat and cold have changed. So what's new on this front?
Yes, the government has revised the operating guidelines for port safety management funds to allow more active spending on protecting workers from extreme weather conditions like heat waves and cold spells. The Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries has expanded the allowable use of port safety management funds starting from today, June 26.
Yes, and what is this port safety management fund used for normally?
This fund was introduced in 2022 as part of port handling fees. It is normally used for things like installing and maintaining safety equipment at ports, paying safety management personnel, and funding safety training programs.
Yes, and what was added in this revision?
The new guideline now explicitly includes costs related to preventing and responding to heat-related and cold-related illnesses in port workplaces. This covers equipment, supplies, facility installation, or improvement, and related expenses.
Yes, and what does this mean in practice, though, for the port workers?
So in practical terms, port operators can now use the fund to more actively purchase items like bottled water, cooling vests, air-conditioned rest shelters, and heating equipment for winter conditions.
I'm glad that they looked into this. It's definitely good for the workers. Moving on, then, let's talk about this. There is a new exhibition that is opening in one of Busan's historical museums, right?
That's correct. A special exchange exhibition opened yesterday on the 25th at the Busan Museum of Modern and Contemporary History and is running until September 27th.
Yes.
It is being held to mark Busan hosting the 48th session of the UNESCO World Heritage Committee.
Right, and what's the main theme of this exhibition?
The exhibition is organized around three themes: maintaining national functions during wartime, the daily lives of war refugees, and international cooperation during the Korean War period.
Right.
It presents the historical meaning of 11 heritage sites connected to Busan's role as a wartime capital.
Yes, and that is so significant. So thank you for letting us know about this one. And for our final story, we're having the 2026 Busan Food Film Festa starting today. So we need the details on this one.
The 2026 Busan Food Film Festa is a food-themed film festival that combines cinema and food culture into a shared content experience. It will run for 3 days starting today, June 26, at Busan Cinema Center and surrounding Suyeonggang River area.
And what can we expect at the opening ceremony?
The opening ceremony begins at 7 p.m., hosted by programmer Park Sang-hyun and culinary researcher Hong Shin-hye. Entry is free for the first 10,000 attendees on a first-come, first-served basis.
Ah, okay. So in terms of performances and films, do we know what's going to be featured?
The opening night includes a performance by Busan's young fusion traditional music band, 날라리와 쟁이, blending traditional instruments like 태평소 and 아쟁 with modern music styles.
Yes.
For films, a total of 17 screenings are scheduled, and the opening film is The Last Cannoli, which depicts the final moments of a historic pastry shop in Sicily closing down.
Yes. Is there any significance for this year's festival?
Yes, actually there is. Officials say the 2026 edition marks the 10th anniversary of the festival, aiming to let audience experience different cultures and ways of life through the shared language of food and film.
Ah, well, thank you for going over all of the local news and offerings for our Busan area. We'll check in with you on Monday. Thank you, Jian.
Thank you.
All right, I'll be back with your traffic and weather. It's time for your traffic report. First up, it's congested on Daedong-Hwamyeong Bridge from Hwamyeong to Anmak in that direction. It's also busy on Luno-Samsung-daedo from Myeongji Ramp to Shino Bridge. The traffic is building on Jungwang-daedo from Sojongcheon intersection to Yunsan Tunnel. It's also slow on the Dongso overpass from Hwangryong Ramp to Kaegum. It's currently 22 degrees Celsius here in Busan under clear skies. The daytime high will go up to 24 today. Heavy showers hit the eastern coast overnight. And with that, continuing into the morning for parts of Gangwon and the Yeongnam area, an east-west divide in terms of temperatures, with the western region seeing daytime highs going up to 30 degrees, but on the east, highs in the mid-20s. Looking at the weather for the weekend, clear skies across the weekend here in Busan. Daytime highs are expected to go up to 24, 25 degrees Celsius for both days. This was your traffic and weather. It's time for the morning brief. President and Samsung Electronics chief discuss investment in southern region. President Lee Jae-myung met with Samsung Electronics chair Lee Jae-yong yesterday to discuss plans for regional semiconductor investments, including the possible development of a chip cluster in the southwestern Honam region. Prime Minister says government position to eliminate prosecution's supplementary investigation rights. Prime Minister Kim Min-seok yesterday said that the government has concluded that the prosecution will not be granted the right to conduct supplementary investigations as part of its prosecutorial reform initiative. U.S. focus on ensuring OPCON transfer conditions are met soon. The United States is focused on ensuring that necessary conditions for the transfer of wartime operational control, or OPCON, to South Korea will be met as soon as possible, and that it understands Seoul's position to retake OPCON quickly, according to a senior U.S. diplomat. South Korea loses to South Africa to finish third in Group A. South Korea lost to South Africa 0-1 on Wednesday local time, finishing third in Group A at the FIFA World Cup, sending their status for the knockout round into limbo. At least 188 dead in Venezuelan earthquakes. At least 188 people have been killed and more than 1,500 injured, and that's as of broadcast time after a powerful back-to-back earthquakes, a set of them, occurred in Venezuela, with magnitudes of 7.2 and 7.5, as acting President Darcy Rodriguez has declared a state of emergency. This was the Morning Brief. You're listening to hour number 1 of Morning Wave in Busan. On this Friday, we have Haley joining us. Let's say hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Our favorite day. Finally here. I wish I could be happier. We'll get into that later on. Yes. But we are going to dive into the casualties, the damages from the Venezuelan earthquake that I just mentioned, right?
Right. So the Venezuelan capital of Caracas was hit with 2 major earthquakes under 40 seconds of within each other. The first one was a powerful magnitude 7.2. The second one even stronger at 7.5. The quakes hit the area of Montalban, which is west of Caracas, but could be felt as far as in Colombia, Bogota. The latest death toll, as you said, stands at 188, with over 1,500 people injured. That's according to the president of Venezuela's National Assembly. However, given the fact that not only were there 2 earthquakes back-to-back, they were strong, and also the epicenter is considered what's called shallow, meaning both were within 25 kilometers below the ground. These shallow earthquakes, their waves carry stronger onto the ground level, and the death toll could go up to thousands because at least 200 people are believed to be buried under over 250 collapsed buildings.
Right. And let's talk about the rescue efforts. What have they been like?
The recovery effort is being hampered by severe damages to the communications system. Also, because of a shortage of equipment, many rescue officials are apparently using shovels, wheelbarrows, and just their bare hands. Doctors Without Borders says that many parts of the country is without mobile or internet service, and that some parts of the hard-hit city of LaGuardia, they do not have electricity right now.
Yes.
And we only know about the situation in these heavily populated areas, and details are just now emerging from the more remote parts of the country. And here, rescue and assistance efforts could be further hindered by geographical distance and then difficulty of access.
Right. Right. And the international community has been rushing to aid Venezuela, correct?
Right. So world leaders and international agencies are offering condolences and promising humanitarian assistance.
Right.
Here in South Korea, President Lee Jae-myung offered his deep condolences, adding that about 100 South Korean nationals are living in Venezuela. But regarding these Korean nationals, the foreign ministry said that no damages or casualties to South Koreans have been reported. Moving to other parts of the world, the American president, Donald Trump, said that the USA stands ready, willing, and able to help, that he has instructed all agencies of the U.S. government to get ready to move quickly. And in a little bit of what pundits are calling a positive development, the acting Rodriguez administration has been working closely with the U.S. since the president, Nicolas Maduro, was taken out by U.S. forces earlier in the year.
Yes, once again, this devastating earthquake. Thank you for reporting on the details, what we know thus far. For now, we're going to go to the National Assembly, where the confirmation hearing for Prime Minister nominee Han Sung-suk took place yesterday.
That was day one of the two-day confirmation hearing for the current SMEs and Startups Minister Han Sung-suk, who may become Lee Jae-myung administration's second prime minister.
Well, what were some of the major issues at hand yesterday?
So sharp words were exchanged to the point that there was a 30-minute halt in the confirmation hearing as things got heated. So lawmakers fiercely debated her capacity to lead the cabinet, as well as some personal issues. The Opposition People Power Party, or the PPP, brought up her history of multiple home or property ownership, potential legal issues with the rural piece of land, and the recent data leak with the SMEs Ministry's project, the Startup for All.
Yes. Well, let's go through some of the issues in detail.
So Han apparently turned quite a profit from one real estate investment with an apartment in Jamsil. She bought this at 2.25 billion won back in 2006.
Okay.
But after she was named the prime minister nominee, she sold that at 5.2 billion, turning a 2.95 billion won profit. She did donate 500 million won of the profit to charity. There was also an issue with a piece of land that she owes in Yangpyeong County that was apparently in violation of a Farmland Act, which Han says that she never received notification regarding that said violation from the county office.
Yes.
There's a little bit of a big back and forth about this. But of course, the big issue was with the recent data leak with the SMEs ministry, as she was the minister there. That has raised issues of lax management, at least according to PPP lawmakers.
Yes, and the Democratic Party, the DP, came to her defense, though.
They did. So DP lawmakers said that this is excessive criticism, that it was investment, not speculation regarding that piece of the real estate investment.
Okay.
Lawmakers did agree that more attention should have been given to data protection just overall, but the project itself was commendable according to the DP side. They also focused on her history of climbing up this corporate ladder from a quote-unquote average employee to lead one of the country's biggest tech giants as a suitable candidate to make the convergence to the AI era.
Yes.
By the way, under the law on confirmation hearings, the parliamentary evaluation of nominees must be completed within 20 days of the National Assembly having received a confirmation hearing request. That request came on the 11th of this month. For Prime Minister, a majority of the lawmakers present must vote yay.
Okay, so thank you for going over the details. We will continue to follow this story. And now we're going to turn to a different story, an issue of drunk driving. The Supreme Court is looking into setting sentencing guidelines for certain DUI offenses.
So the Supreme Court Sentencing Commission this week said that it's going to come up with sentencing guidelines. We call that 양형기준 for repeat DUI, so drinking under or driving under the influence or drunk driving offenders that commit the same acts within 10 years and or those who drink after they get pulled over in an act that we call 술타기, meaning like watering down your blood alcohol concentration.
Yes, well, maybe you can explain for our listeners what these sentencing guidelines are.
So sentencing guidelines, as you can tell, they are guidelines, recommendations that the Supreme Court sets for specific acts and specific crimes.
Yes.
They are guidelines that judges use when making their ruling. Because they're guidelines, they're not binding. But if a judge rules outside of that guideline, then he or she must submit an opinion. So unless there are extraordinary circumstances, these are usually followed.
Yes.
So in the recent meeting this week, the committee included punishment for repeat offenders within 10 years, those who refuse the blood alcohol concentration test or interfere with it, including getting pulled over, drinking alcohol on the spot to interfere with the BAC, later arguing in court that they were sober when they're driving, and the BAC is just a result of the quick drinking.
Yes. However, we don't have the actual guidelines yet, correct?
Right. So as to what that figure might be, how many years in jail or the fine, we don't know yet because the committee will come up with the specific terms at a later date. And they said they'll refer to the similar cases in the past. And unfortunately, there have been many.
Yes, and we've reported on some of them. All right, so for now, I want to go back to a story that has been pretty major this week. This 중앙일보 filing for court-led rehabilitation. So we're going to take an in-depth look into the stories involving this major media conglomerate.
Right, so this story came as a shock for many when 중앙 Group, which is the parent company of major paper 중앙일보, as well as the general programming TV channel JTBC, filed for rehabilitation proceedings, and 중앙일보 is applying for a workout. So Seoul Bankruptcy Court held hearings with the representatives of the 5 companies on Tuesday of this week. So that marks the start of this full-scale review of their rehabilitation cases.
Yes. Before we get into the specific cases, I think we need to clear up some terms. Things like corporate workout, rehabilitation, and also the term bankruptcy.
Because in the headlines, the Korean headlines, these have sparked wild speculation about, is the company going bankrupt? Because there was the term 부도 that was used, and we're like, so the household name, this big newspaper? No. Is the short answer.
Sure.
The station is not going to shut down. They're trying everything to not do this. So the first piece of the story is that JTBC defaulted on the 20.6 billion won loan. So default in Korean is 채무 불이행. Basically, they failed to pay back its loans on time.
Okay.
So this is why we saw the headlines 220억 원 기업 어음 최종 부도 처리. So the 부도 here is not bankruptcy, but defaulting on a set of loans.
Okay.
So the company has dishonored its bill, aka the default. So this is kind of the first domino that started everything, leading to a liquidity, 유동성 crisis across the entire group, with major affiliates, including JTBC, filing for a rehabilitation. And the court, as I said, has begun the processes.
Right. So perfect segue. Let's find out more about rehabilitation.
So rehabilitation, when we talk
Yes.
about a person going to rehab, perhaps,
yes.
what is that person trying to do in rehab?
Rehab usually to stop some sort of addiction, to get away from it.
And get better. That's the key. Getting better. So rehabilitation in a corporate sense is 회생 절차. It's kind of the opposite of bankruptcy. Yes, unfortunately, there are times when some corporations enter rehabilitation, but they end up filing for bankruptcy anyways.
Sure.
But in itself, it's a move to try to avoid bankruptcy, to close down a company under guidance of a court.
Yes.
The term needs to be worked out, but the terms need to be worked out, but the court can forgive parts of the debt or shift the debt to the stocks to ease the burden on the company. So this is the process that they're working on. So being approved for rehabilitation means that the court sees that for the time being, the business prospects are still sound or at least salvageable. So this is what 중앙 Group's affiliates are seeking, including JTBC, Megabox 중앙, Content Street 중앙, 중앙 P&I, and 중앙 Holdings.
Yes. But the parent group itself is in what they're calling a workout. What is this?
So basically, it's the same thing as a rehabilitation, but rehabilitation is working with the court. A workout is you're trying to work that out within your creditors. So fix the situation.
Okay.
So workout again with the creditors, 채권단. So they within themselves reach negotiations to maybe potentially extend the payment period or adjust the interest rate.
Okay, so now let's go back to the root of the issue itself. Why did JTBC and by extension 중앙 Group face these liquidity woes?
So these include multiple issues. First of all, the general backdrop of what traditional media has been facing. So 중앙일보, the paper, one of the biggest newspapers, hard copy, and JTBC on television, they've just not been doing well. Not just the group, but as an industry.
Yes.
With the boom of new media, social media, OTT platforms, well, advertisers are paying money to the new media, not so much old media. So old media has been seeing its revenues decreasing. Then this leads us to the second problems. JTBC made aggressive investments for a breakthrough, especially in the sports sector, including the exclusive rights over the Olympics and the World Cup, not just for this year, but for many. Especially with the 2026 Winter Olympics that have happened, it failed to sell the rights to the network channels, leading to big losses.
Indeed. So we are where we are. Yes. All right. Thanks for the thorough explanation. For now, though, we're going to move on to some international news stories. Some tensions have been noted in the Strait of Hormuz.
Right. So an attack on a vessel has been reported in the Strait of Hormuz. According to the United Nations International Maritime Organization, or the IMO, they've suspended vessel evacuation plans after a Singapore flagged ship was attacked in the strait. So this halts the operation that was going on to begin evacuating some 11,000 sailors who have been stranded in the strait ever since the war began and after the MOU was signed.
Yes.
So the IMO Secretary General, Mr. Arsenio Dominguez, he stated that he's been informed of an attack today, local time, in the Gulf of Oman on a vessel that was not transiting under the IMO's evacuation framework. And actually earlier, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, said that safe passage is only possible via routes that it has designated.
All right. That's the latest in the Strait of Hormuz. Well, we also have to cover some public-related health stories from around the world. The first case of the Ebola virus that has been detected out of Africa is making waves.
So France has confirmed its first Ebola case in the country, which would be the first case reported outside of Africa in the current outbreak. The patient is a doctor who had returned from a humanitarian mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo, or the DRC, who has tested positive.
Yes. So what do we know about the infection route?
The healthcare worker was operating in one of the areas where the virus is circulating. That's according to the French health authorities.
Okay.
The patient is under strict biosafety protocols and isolation. So things are being controlled on the French end. So the World Health Organization, or the WHO, said there's no need to panic about this particular case, with Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus saying that in the last 50 years, fewer than 30 Ebola cases have been detected outside of Africa.
Yes. However, the situation in the DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, seems serious.
Unfortunately so. So Tedros said that the outbreak is continuing and it's outpacing the efforts to stop it. So he pointed to inadequacies in contact tracing, treatment facilities, and challenges from unsafe, these open burial practices.
Sure.
With the WHO chief saying that the Ebola outbreak could cost billions of dollars if not addressed quickly and efficiently.
Yes. And another public health safety concern was with the hantavirus, right?
But we can actually give you good news to end on.
Okay.
This particular outbreak, which came out of a cruise ship, is coming to an end. The WHO said that the current hantavirus outbreak should formally end on July 2nd. So according to Director General Tedros, the number of hantavirus cases remained at 13, including 3 deaths. So more than 650 contacts have been identified across 32 countries and territories since the outbreak was reported. But as of Wednesday, when this briefing came, only 54 contacts were still under quarantine. And the reason for that very specific July 2nd deadline is because the last of the quarantine will end on this date. And at that point, the WHO will consider the outbreak to have ended.
Well, thank you for giving updates on this as well, plus all the top stories. We'll check in with you in hour number 2. Thank you, Haley.
See you in a bit.
It's time for a little song break. Here it is, Scar Tissue by the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Scar tissue that I wish you saw. Sarcastic Mr. Know-It-All. Close your eyes and I'll kiss you, 'cause with the birds I'll share. With the birds I'll share this lonely view. And with the birds I'll share this lonely view. And push me up against the wall. Young tuck girl in a push-up bra. Falling all over myself to lift your heart and taste your hill, 'cause with the birds I share this lonely view. And with the birds I share this lonely view. And with the birds I share this lonely view. birds shed it's a lonely view. And with the birds shed it's a lonely view. Soft spoken with a broken jaw. Step outside but not to brawl. And autumn sweet wind, call it fall. I'll make it to the moon, never have to crawl. And with the birds shed it's a lonely view. And with the birds shed it's a lonely view. And with the birds shed it's a lonely view. Close your eyes and I'll kiss you, 'cause with the birds of share, with the birds of share, it's a lonely view. And with the birds of share, it's a lonely view. And with the birds of share, it's a lonely view.
Welcome back, everybody. It's time for our next segment. So here we are with Casey for Foreign Press Highlights. Yay!
Good morning.
How are you?
Good. I'm doing good.
Good.
Yeah,
So
I
I'm
don't
glad
remember
you're doing
anything we talked about last week. I have zero recollection.
Really?
Uh-oh.
Well, I have a question.
Go
Our
ahead.
text topic. I know you're not a huge soccer fan. However,
What?
who is your favorite soccer player? Korean, non-Korean, does not matter. We don't discriminate.
You know what is really interesting
Yes.
to watch is Messi. He's actually like fun to watch.
He is. He's
'Cause,
still good on the ball. Really
like
good.
he looks like he's not doing anything for like most of the time that the camera's on him. He's just like strolling around,
And then
suddenly he's where he should be. I don't know how he does it.
that's why he's messy.
That's why he's Messi.
He's at the right place at the right time.
I'm messy too, but a different kind.
The MESSY.
Don't ask my wife.
It's a Friday. Well, thank you for sharing. Let's get into our first story for Foreign Press Highlights. What's it about? Where's it from?
All right. Well, let's stick with the soccer theme or football if you prefer.
No.
No.
Sorry.
No, you prefer soccer. Like
We're from freaking
yes,
America.
yes,
It's
that's
soccer.
right. We're from America.
Yes. But of course, football everywhere else, so I recognize that as well.
Even in this article I'm going to talk about is from Reuters. So you know they're typically British writers.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a mix of the two. But,
We can use football, it's fine.
Well, it's weird because it's also about the U.S. and Korea at the same time. So. I'm going to skip any World Cup predictions for today. Instead, let's focus on this article.
Okay, the story. What's it about?
The headline is Keeping Our Roots Eternal.
Oh.
Korean Americans celebrate home at World Cup. That's one of those headlines you have to kind of break it into parts. So it's all about Liberty Park in Koreatown. Are you familiar?
Liberty Park?
Yeah.
Okay, where's that?
In Koreatown, I'm assuming. They don't give the specific location, but it's in Los Angeles.
I know. I want to know what streets you're talking about.
It's the corner of Liberty and Liberty. I don't know.
Okay.
I've never been there. I've been to Koreatown, but I've not been to Liberty Park.
Maybe it's like newer because like I don't remember a Liberty Park.
Okay.
When I was there. So
Okay. Yeah, I did
maybe.
want to ask you.
Okay.
So they said like basically it was taken over, right? So it was like all red, like
Okay.
red shirts, everything. So they said people were clad almost entirely in red, draped in South Korean flags. Hundreds of Korean Americans transformed Liberty Park in Los Angeles, Koreatown, into a slice of home on Wednesday.
Yes.
They were chanting, they were singing, they were dancing, and I guess the headline comes from this banner that I guess a lot of people had, Keeping Our Roots Eternal, which I think in the U.S. can be hard to do.
It's difficult. It's
right?
a challenge.
Yeah, it takes
Because
effort.
You have this pressure to quote and unquote assimilate.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, and I don't know what my roots are. I'll be honest, but it's something that when you see it, it's kind of cool. Like I remember like Greek festivals or like Italian festivals that I've attended, and it's just like kind of nice to see people connecting to home, and that's what this story's about.
Okay.
They had my favorite thing. They had food stalls. They had flags, of course. They had merchandise, which I'm curious. Like, what would you buy?
I don't know.
T-shirts, I guess.
Maybe.
Right.
Yes.
So they had all this spread across the park, and basically the idea, it was like a big watch party where everybody got together. And it really didn't matter per se what the outcome was of the final group stage game against South Africa. That's the one they featured in this article. I know. So instead they focus on like the celebration. They said there were people queued up for Korean street food. There was face painting going on before the kickoff.
Right.
They call it a kickoff in soccer too, huh?
Yes, they do.
I'm learning so much.
You're so schooled.
I know.
Well-versed in soccer.
And I used to play it in like elementary school.
Right.
So they had like drummers and cheerleaders, like, during the whole game. They had people breaking into chants. Have you ever had the chance to witness any kind of like big Korean celebration like that in the U.S.?
The thing is this, like during the 2002, World Cup.
They mentioned that, yeah.
Obviously was like so, like, I wish I had been in Korea at that time. I was, I had a family, so I couldn't partake in that. So.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, no. But of course, we woke up at insane hours to watch the matches, but in the comfort of our own home.
I gotcha.
Right.
I gotcha. Well, they did talk about, the results of the game because I guess the reporter had stayed through the whole event, and they said even then, when things didn't go well in the second half of the game the other day, they said the noisy atmosphere like barely changed. Like it was still like celebratory.
It's just like a festive mood, basically.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
right.
It's just like everybody hangs out, and they mention in the article, it's like it's like suddenly strangers are your family. It's that kind of feeling.
I mean, like I said, I wish I had experienced that. Maybe sometime.
And I also wonder if like it's become, a bigger thing, more recently, because they do mention that, like because of the K wave, like it's probably like I would assume people who are not even Korean American might turn up. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
And they showed in the lot of the photos there that was like definitely all ages as well. And they said, even though the game was over and it didn't end as well, like people immediately jumped back on stage and started playing Gangnam Style and some K-pop Demon Hunters hits. So like they kept the party going.
Right, but I mean, the thing with Gangnam Style is that it's like an oldie but goodie at this point.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's like with
a
a wink,
mood, and
right?
everybody gets happy.
Right. It's like tongue in cheek too. Like everybody knows
exactly.
It's just for fun.
Right.
But they did say like they interviewed some people that were there, and they actually said some people really weren't there not being big soccer fans. You know what I mean? Like the crowd was more important. They talked to a guy named Donnie, who's a registered nurse who's lived in LA since childhood. He said, I'm not really a soccer fan.
Right.
But the World Cup kind of always brings out a little bit of national pride. And I have the same feeling about the U.S. team. I don't watch, I know nothing.
Yeah, I'll be honest.
Still, no.
For the U.S. team, I only know like a couple of the athletes.
Yeah, me too. Only a couple.
Like Christian, like Pulisic, and the more famous ones.
Okay.
The ones that play in Europe. So.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
But still, like I have this feeling like it comes around every 4 years, and like when you see your nation come up, it's like, oh, a little bit of pride's there.
But it's very similar to the Olympics, no?
Yes, totally.
Right?
Same thing.
You feel that swell of like national pride.
Yeah.
And then like now that I'm living here in Korea, it's like everybody always asks like, who are you rooting for?
Yes. And are you scared to say like?
No, I just like
you
it depends on who's asking me.
Okay.
Know your audience.
Right.
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 So, someone Korea. Of course, Team Korea.
Right. And then if it's an American that asks you, USA.
Go USA. Right. And then, like, you're cheering for both. Yes.
Yeah. Smart. I'll remember that next time. I'm like, I don't know.
Was anybody actually there for the soccer or football?
Yes. They did say they talked to somebody named Mitchell Lee, who's actually living in Maryland, but was visiting for like a family wedding anyway. And he's like, yeah, we knew like we were going to go there. He says, Koreatown just has such a vibe. We had to come. And he said, being born and raised in the U.S., football, which we're talking about soccer, remains one of the strongest connections his family have to their roots. So in other words, they still like feel their connection to Korea when, I guess every 4 years when the World Cup comes up or through the national team.
Absolutely.
They also talked to Irene Choi, who's born in LA, and her mom runs like a ballet school in Koreatown.
Oh.
And she says, much like you did, she said, I wish I was in Korea at this time.
Exactly.
But she's like, I could experience it there, but I never have. But this is like a good second. Like every single World Cup viewing party in K-Town is always so much fun, and it brings our community together.
Sure, absolutely.
So, regardless of the outcome.
I feel like it's all about the vibes.
It is.
The food.
I'm hungry. Yes, already I'm thinking about what are the food stalls like there?
And it's like so much fun cheering and giving your opinions about, what's going on.
Oh, I'm sure there were a lot of opinions being given.
Oh, yesterday, yeah.
Oh, dear.
Okay.
Yes.
We're going to move on quickly, though. What is our next story about?
The next story is about something I also know little of. Did you put on sunscreen today?
I did. Every day.
I knew that. I knew that. Do you know where it's made?
What do you mean where it's made?
Where it's actually manufactured. Do you know where it's from?
I don't know. It is a Korean brand.
Okay.
But I don't know where it's manufactured.
Then I guarantee I can't guarantee. I shouldn't guarantee.
Okay.
But I assume it's probably made here.
Okay.
Because National Geographic this week has a headline that says...
Nat Geo?
Yeah.
That Nat Geo?
That's the one.
Okay.
What
do they say?
How South Korea makes the most innovative sunscreen in the world.
I can't disagree.
Well, okay. So again, you might have to school me a little bit on this, but do you think sunscreen really needs innovation?
Yes.
Oh, that was a definite yes. Okay, cool.
No, back in the day,
yeah.
Just from my personal experience, when you put on sunscreen or some cream, it kind of left this very grayish cast.
Yep.
It made you look ghostly in a bad way.
Yep.
Like really,
And that's why I avoided it. Yeah, actually, yeah.
That's why, right?
Yeah, totally.
Not because you wanted to avoid skin cancer.
Right, I know. I know.
Do you know that we're supposed to wear sun cream because of all the lights in the studio?
Are you serious?
Yes.
Like this can have an effect?
Yes.
All right. I'll be back.
Now you know.
I'll be right back. So yeah, actually, according to several experts,
right,
sunscreen has undergone a renaissance over the last 15 to 20 years. And at the forefront of all that is Europe and East Asia. And they explain why.
Why?
New age UV filters.
Ooh.
All right, I'm going to throw some names at you. All right, these are, and if you don't know what they're talking about, because I didn't either, these are basically like newer formed compounds that help protect against the harmful UV rays that we get exposed to or in the studio. And they say researchers have developed sunscreens that last longer. That's good. Cover a broader range of the light spectrum. I assume that's good as well. And feel more pleasant on the skin.
The sun cream I used this morning, it feels like a moisturizer.
That's it. That's the
like
Korean innovation right there.
Yeah. And I don't know, the gross feeling sun cream of days past.
Yeah.
I used to slather it on not just myself and like my kids when they were younger. And I have photos of them where they're just like literally slathered in the sun cream. And no matter how much you rub it in, it doesn't really rub into the skin. It just makes you look white.
Right.
Literally just white.
That kind of like chalkiness, right?
Yeah, chalkiness. Not like Caucasian white, but white. Like chalky white, yes.
Yeah. Well, they say that's actually what South Korea is particularly known for, is like combining these different things, like being a moisturizer, being an anti-inflammatory substance, whatever that means. Also having skin barrier supporting agents.
Wow.
Are you following me?
Yeah, I'm totally following you.
All right, I'm going to throw some hard words at you. Niacinamide or Centella asiatica.
Yes.
Commonly known as
Sika.
Sika?
Yeah.
Thank you for the assist there. So, like, people know about this?
I do.
Okay.
Because I like reading up on, like, what's going in, what I put on my skin.
Which makes sense.
Yes.
Because they do mention that in the article. One of the people they talked to was like, there is a lot of stuff that gets added quickly as the products develop. And, like, do we spend enough time really testing them and the effects of them?
Right.
Yeah, that is actually a concern. But I like this, too, as well. Like, a lot of the things they're developing, they're trying to figure out how to protect from other forms of pollution besides just like UV rays.
Yes.
So, because we live in cities, there's a lot of pollution, right?
Right.
Also supporting a healthy skin microbiome, which, sure, that sounds good. I'm actually concerned about this one.
Okay.
Causing less harm to coral reefs.
This is really important.
Right?
And Bonnie. Do you guys all remember Bonnie, right?
Sure.
Our guru Bonnie, and she used to preach about this. Preach in a really good way, though.
Yeah.
About the harm that anything, especially the ingredients, substances in sun cream,
Right.
that it could really affect marine life and
It
of course,
does.
the coral reefs.
Right, yeah. It's been proven to have done like damage to coral reefs. So, and you want to be like environmentally conscious, but you also want to be like, as you mentioned, like skin cancer is like something to take seriously.
Right.
So when you're kind of like, if they were able to do that, I would be much more happy about putting on tons of sunblock when I go to the beach. They also mentioned like there's an idea to cool down human skin.
Cool down human skin.
So like think about it, like when you sweat, like that's when the sunblock feels. I'm not sweating now, I promise.
That's so gross, right?
I know. But like, when you sweat with sunblock on, doesn't it like feel like
It's the
some
worst.
weird mixture, right?
Yeah.
So if they could figure out a way to like actually cool down the skin, it would be like kind of like two birds, one stone, perhaps.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of cool ideas going on in there. But
Yeah, but every country or region has different guidelines and regulations on sunscreen. Because I hear even some of the Korean sunscreen, if the ingredients are not FDA approved, they have to reformulate.
And this is one reason that this article mentions why the U.S. is not mentioned in the innovation as far as sunscreen goes. A lot of people say that the reason that Europe and East Asia are in the front lines of this is because of the U.S. FDA. So the Food and Drug Administration basically is very slow moving. So they say a lot of these newer UV filters that are available in Europe and East Asia are not available in the U.S. at all.
Right.
And the FDA considers these products to be drugs rather than cosmetics. So that's one reason. And so far, it's only authorized the use of 17 UV filters, whereas in South Korea and the EU, there's like more than 30 available. So it's just like not an even playing field as far as like technological development. But as you mentioned, like a big part of that is like, you have to be able to break into the U.S. market as well. So you have to go through the FDA.
And the thing is this, it was news recently that one of the biggest beauty brands, here in Korea, Olive Deng, opening stores in the U.S., but especially in terms of their sunscreen, they did have to reformulate.
Specifically for the
U.S.
U.S.,
Yes, for the
right?
U.S., right. Because you got to follow the guidelines when in Rome, do as Romans do, follow the rules.
And there's something to that, though. They did say in this article as well, like in the United States, they say like roughly 13% of Americans say they wear sun protection daily.
Yes.
Which means like, because they're used to like things that feel gross. So, it discourages people from like doing this. Whereas like here, it's like a daily ritual, right?
It is.
It's like the morning thing you do.
Oh, every morning. And supposedly you're supposed to add more sun cream on during the day.
Oh, dear.
And it's kind of a challenge, though, because you're wearing makeup.
Right.
Right, Casey?
I'm telling you, it took me a good 5 minutes to get ready this morning.
All right. Well, thank you for bringing us two really interesting but very different stories for our listeners and viewers. And we look forward to next week as well.
I'll put on some sun cream this weekend.
Okay, you promise. Well, thank you, Casey. We're going to call it a wrap for hour number 1. How about this one? IU, Everything's All Right. I'll be back at 8.
거짓말이 아니야. Everything's alright if you hold me tight. 나는 괜찮아 너만 있으면 완전 보고 싶어 미치도록 말야.
Hi, this is Catherine. Can you hear me?
Hi,
Dr.
Catherine.
Murray?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So
Can you hear me?
I want to confirm that you're Dr. Margaret Murray. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, great. So what's going to happen is we're going to go live with you about 4 minutes past the hour. So after a test call, if you can mute your mic, and then our producer through the Zoom chat box, she'll let you know when to unmute your mic, but it's going to be approximately 4 minutes past the hour. And if I could ask you to sit back a little bit away from the camera so we can get a better shot. Can we try that?
Just push that back a little bit. I've got a plant here that's trying to get into the shot with me. Just move that away a little bit. Is that better?
Hold on just a second. Yes, the optics are good, so we're going to go with that. If we can try to remember that spacing throughout the interview, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, sure. I'll try to keep a
And
little
can
bit
you
of
count
distance.
from 1 to 10 as our final audio check?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Perfect. All right, so everything looks good, sounds good. If you can mute your mic, she'll remind you once again, and we're good to go. Talk to you in a few minutes.
Great.
Thank you.
인재를 키우게 합니다. 바다를 품은 자연과 활기찬 도시의 일상이 예술이 되고 영감이 되는 곳. 부산이라는 거대한 도화지 위에서 창의력이 피어나고 상상력이 자라납니다. 예술로 생각이 자라는 도시, 예술도시 부산. 이 캠페인은 창의적 사고로 예술을 키우는 동서대학교 앵커 사업단과 부산 영어방송이 함께합니다.
혹시 지금 운전 중이신가요? 어린이 교통사고 피해자 수는 지난 3년 평균 약 9만 명. 특히 어린이 보호구역 안전기준이 강화된 이후에도 어린이 보호구역 내 사고는 지속적으로 발생하고 있습니다. 스쿨존에서는 반드시 시속 30km 이하 서행, 스쿨존 내 불법 주정차 금지, 차량 출발 전 앞뒤 좌우 살피는 습관으로 어린이가 안전한 도시를 만듭니다. 참, 운전 중 휴대전화 사용은 모두에게 위험합니다. 우리 모두를 위한 교통안전, 나부터 실천하면 모두가 안전해집니다. 어린이가 안전하게 뛰어놀 수 있는 부산. 아이 키우기 좋은 도시는 우리 모두의 미래이자 희망입니다. 이 캠페인은 어린이가 안전한 부산을 만드는 은행, B&K 부산은행과 함께합니다.
무엇이든 말하는 대로 만드는 AI의 세상. 하지만 AI로 이 소리를 대신할 수 있을까요? 이토록 푸른 자연의 소리. 우리의 행동으로 대한민국의 푸른 자연을 지켜주세요. 공익광고협의회.
The time is now 8 o'clock.
Welcome back, everybody. It's time for 8 o'clock Spotlight News. President and Samsung Electronics chief discuss investment in southern region. President Lee Jae-myung met with Samsung Electronics chair Lee Jae-yong yesterday to discuss plans for regional semiconductor investments, including the possible development of a chip cluster in the southwestern Honam region. The talks are widely viewed as part of the ongoing preparations for the government's upcoming conference on balanced regional development. The president had earlier met with the head of SK Hynix to exchange views on the matter. Earlier in the day, the president, during a meeting with senior aides, stressed the importance of diversification of key strategic industries to promote balanced regional growth. Prime Minister says government position to eliminate prosecution's supplementary investigation rights. Prime Minister Kim Min-seok yesterday said that the government has concluded that the prosecution will not be granted the right to conduct supplementary investigations as part of its prosecutorial reform initiative. Kim told reporters that the key to this reform is the separation of the investigation and indictment functions, confirming that the stance is final. The Prime Minister also said that the government will not propose a new bill for such reforms, adding that the government will convey its position to the ruling Democratic Party and respect the parliament's decisions. U.S. focus on ensuring OPCON transfer conditions are met soon. The United States is focused on ensuring that the necessary conditions for the transfer of wartime operational control, or OPCON, to South Korea will be met as soon as possible, and that it understands Seoul's position to retake OPCON quickly, according to a senior U.S. diplomat. Assistant Secretary of State for East Asian and Pacific Affairs, Michael DeSombre, made the remarks during a hearing of the Subcommittee on East Asia and Pacific Affairs under the House Foreign Affairs Committee in Washington on Thursday local time. DeSombre also pointed out that the OPCON transition will be done under a conditions-based agreement for both sides to be comfortable, and until that point, the U.S. will remain the necessary deterrence in Korea. South Korea loses to South Africa to finish third in Group A. South Korea lost to South Africa 0-1 on Wednesday local time, finishing third in Group A at the FIFA World Cup, sending their status for the knockout round into limbo. The Pele Maseko scored for South Africa in the 63rd minute, and South Korea failed to respond at Estadio Monterrey in Guadalupe as they suffered their second defeat in Group A. Son Heung-min, who started the match on the bench for the first time in his World Cup career, expressed his frustrations at the match, saying that he was sorry to his teammates for not having given them much help on the pitch. At least 188 dead in Venezuelan earthquakes. As of broadcast time, at least 188 people have been killed and more than 1,500 injured after powerful back-to-back earthquakes in Venezuela with magnitudes of 7.2 and 7.5 as acting President Darcy Rodriguez has declared a state of emergency. Rescuers have been searching the rubble in the capital, Caracas, and the state of La Guaira, with at least 250 buildings reportedly collapsed or damaged. Some estimates say that thousands of people could have been killed in total as aftershocks continue for hours after the quakes. And this was Spotlight News. It's now time for a special interview. Let me start with a question waivers. Is your fridge stocked with fresh fruits and vegetables? Or maybe preferring frozen and canned options that last much longer? Well, while most of us know that we should be eating more fruits and vegetables, on the whole. Rising food prices have made buying fresh produce more difficult for many households. And as a result, more people are turning to frozen and canned alternatives, which are often cheaper and more convenient. But are they just as healthy as fresh produce? That is the big question. Well, joining us to hopefully answer this, plus much more, Dr. Margaret Murray, a registered nutritionist, dietitian, and senior lecturer in nutrition with the School of Health Sciences at Swinburne University of Technology. Hi, thanks for joining our show.
Good morning, Catherine.
Yes, well, many people believe fresh fruits and vegetables are always the healthiest choice. That's what I was taught back in the day in school. Can frozen or canned produce be just as healthy is the big question.
Yeah, so fresh fruit and vegetables, of course, are a really important part of a healthy diet. And there is this perception that frozen and canned foods are less healthy than fresh. But frozen and canned fruits and vegetables are really great options to complement fresh fruit and vegetables. And as you say, most of us could benefit from eating more fruits and vegetables, and this certainly includes those canned and frozen options.
Well, I hear that there was a surprising find in your research on frozen and canned fruits and vegetables. So can you share some of that with us?
Yeah, so something that was a little surprising was the fact that vitamin C, which of course is an important nutrient that we all need, can actually be higher in some frozen fruits in particular than the fresh alternatives. And this is one because vitamin C is quite well preserved during that freezing process, but it is also used as part of that preservation process to help keep that food staying fresh for longer. So those frozen options can sometimes be higher in particular nutrients compared with fresh.
Oh, that's actually really interesting and surprising at the same time. So thanks for sharing that information with us. How well do frozen fruits and vegetables retain their nutrients? And as you mentioned, sometimes, at least with the vitamin C, that they can be higher in some frozen, I guess, fruit or veggies compared to the fresh produce. So can you maybe give us further details?
Yeah, so with modern canning and freezing techniques,
yes,
frozen fruits and vegetables and canned, we'll talk about those as well in a moment,
Okay.
they generally retain their nutrients very well. And so, as we've seen for vitamin C, for some frozen fruits and vegetables, they can contain more nutrients than those fruits and vegetables that have perhaps sat in the bottom of your fridge for a week. So they definitely do retain their nutrients very well. And this will differ slightly for different types of nutrients, but on the whole, they are a very nutritious option. And of course, there are other benefits of frozen fruits and vegetables as well, that they do often come pre-chopped. Which can add to that convenience, saving us time in the kitchen. And because they do keep for a long time as well, they are much less likely to spoil and have to be thrown out as compared to those fresh options that if we don't eat them soon enough, they do sometimes go off and need to be thrown out.
Right. I'm sure that some of our listeners and viewers out there, they're curious about the process itself, the freezing process. And how is this actually done? I mean, just very generally speaking, because, in our minds, we might have a certain image like, okay, they get the fruit and then they what happens during the freezing process?
So I can't speak too much for what happens within the industrial processes.
Right.
I'm focused more on what the nutritional content is when it comes out. But certainly our modern freezing techniques are very effective at retaining that nutritional value of the food, as well as preserving things like the texture, the taste, and the color that we'd expect. And they're able to do this very sort of quickly. We hear about these snap freezing processes.
Yes.
Whereas if we think about freezing food perhaps in the freezer at home, there is the possibility that can damage the structure of the foods. You can see ice crystals developing within the structure, which is what results in that sort of mushy texture that you might see sometimes when you thaw frozen fruits or vegetables. And this can cause some the nutrient content as well. The industrial freezing does avoid this damage, but if you are freezing or refreezing foods at home, you may see this sort of reduction in the quality of the food.
Yes. And I do want to turn our attention to canned fruits and vegetables now. What about the canning process? Does this reduce the nutritional value of said foods?
Yeah, so the canning process uses high temperatures as opposed to cold temperatures in freezing to help with preserving the foods. And so there will be some nutrients that are susceptible to damage from those high temperatures. And so there are some nutrients that are lost during this process, particularly things like vitamin C, which, you know, we've talked about are actually quite high in frozen fruits and vegetables. But many other nutrients are retained during the canning process. And again, with these modern industrial processes, you know, industries are working very hard to make sure that their processes do retain both the nutritional value, but also those other qualities of the food that we come to expect as well. And so canned fruits and vegetables are still a nutritious option for people to choose.
Yes. I think, though, that some people may be concerned more about the canned foods because of this idea of maybe added sugar or added salt in terms of the canned food. So what can consumers look for when they are choosing canned products?
Yeah, so often canned vegetables in particular will have added salt in them. They might be canned in brine. They may have salt used as part of that preservation process. But a lot of food companies now are providing low salt or no added salt canned options because, of course, many of us do eat more salt than we need. And so we are looking for ways to reduce salt intake. So if you're looking at a canned, perhaps a can of beans or whatever it is that you're purchasing, have a look for on the can. It might say low salt, it might say no added salt, or you might be able to check the sodium content in that food and look for ones that have a lower sodium content to help reduce salt intake. Another thing to look out for in canned food in particular, and more so canned fruits, is the sugar content. So canned fruits are sometimes canned in syrup, and with syrup, that will have added sugars. So again, sugar is something that most of us have more of than we need, and so we could look for ways to reduce it. So going for fruit that is canned in juice instead of in syrup is one way to help reduce the sugar intake from those canned fruits.
Right. Well, you know, frozen and canned foods, we've already established, can last much longer than fresh produce and also help reduce food waste, which is also important. Do you think that they can also play an important role in building a more sustainable food system, especially in areas where the availability of food, that might be an issue?
Definitely. And, you know, there are lots of different aspects involved with building a sustainable food system. And so this is just one part of that. But certainly reducing food waste is one important thing that we can all do to help support a more sustainable food system. And so, you know, as we've talked about, fresh fruit and vegetables do sometimes spoil if we don't use them in time. So the longer shelf life of frozen and canned options can be a great way to help reduce our individual food waste. And like you said as well, canned and frozen options, because they do last longer, they're easier to get to places and transport around the place without that waste that we might see from fresh fruit and vegetables. So they are really important for making sure that perhaps people who are living in more regional or remote areas or who don't have that access to fresh produce are still able to consume fruits and vegetables.
Yes, yes. And finally, for our listeners who want to eat healthier, but also maybe save sometimes on money as well, what practical advice would you like to give them?
So definitely buying fresh produce locally, if possible, is great. Look for when it is in season. That's often when it will be most affordable. But complementing those fresh options with frozen and canned varieties can help to save you money and time. and help to increase the variety of fruits and vegetables that you're eating throughout the year as well, to support overall health. And there are lots of different ways that you can incorporate frozen fruits and vegetables and canned fruits and vegetables into different recipes. There's lots of inspiration out there online to help with coming up with practical ways that you can incorporate those into your diet.
Yes, well, thank you so much for all the great information and also advice at the very end. Wishing you the very best. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me.
Everybody, this was Dr. Margaret Murray. We talked about frozen and canned foods. I think this is really good news because in days past, I feel like frozen fruits and veggies and also the canned fruits and veggies kind of got a bad rap, but not so much. Using them as good complements to fresh produce, I think is a great way to go. This was our special interview. I'll be back with your traffic and weather. It's time for your traffic update. The top portion of the Gwangan Bridge, it is congested right now. Please be aware of that. Also, busy on Nakdong-Namno from Gangso Police Station to Seongsan Three-Way intersection. It's also busy on Mandok-Dero from Sukdung to Deokcheon intersection. And it's slow on the Mandok-Santam Expressway from the end of the expressway to Namhae Expressway and towards the Kupo-Nakdonggang Bridge. Currently, it's 23 degrees here in Busan. Under clear skies, it's going to go up to 24. Heavy showers are forecast to hit the eastern coast overnight, with that continuing into the morning for parts of Gangwon and the Yeongnam area. As the east and west divide today, it's all about the temperatures. The western regions will see daytime highs going up to 30 degrees. However, on the east coast, highs in the mid-20s for the weekend. At least for Busan, clear skies for both tomorrow and Sunday. Approximately 24, 25 degrees as highs. This was your traffic and weather. Speaking of fruits, here's Asai by Cortez.
I don't care who is choking, I don't care who is choking, I don't care who is choking, I don't care. Work up, think it, I just choke on Asai. 한잔 먹고 흥이 올라 흔들면 다 쌈바지. 혀성같이 부르시, 진이 마치 알라딘. All I want is day, all I want is day. Hold it Asai, breathe it Asai. Work up, think it, I just choke on Asai. 내가 많이 좋아해. 아사히 아직보다는 taste 그렇고 뭐 하는 텀이 한발고 보겠시는 마시며 매구의 이신 맛의 소세 시세 호래 책임 그 다음 날에 제가 어깨 위에 짐을 올리 야나기처럼 동서남 지구 한 바퀴 돌다 보면 순간 울려 바다로 Work up, take it, I just choke on 아사히 먹고 흥이 올라 흔들면 다 쌈바지 혀속까지 보라색 진이 마치 알라딘 All I want is 아야 All I want is 아야 Hold it 아사히 Bring it 아사히 Work up, think it I just choke on 아사히 내가 많이 좋아해 아사히 아사히 묻은 티 아사히 묻은 pain 아사히 묻은 album 만들어 버린 chain 키워버린 trend 다 묻혀버린 SNS에 stack But I ain't trying to bend 우린 진짜 백이더라고만 lucky 난 돈 없어 제대로 된 걸 찾으러서 말해 밤새 소세 셔세 호텔 check-in 그 다음 날에 check out 어깨 위에 짐을 올린 떠나기처럼 동선 다 뭉치고 한 바퀴 돌아보면 순간 울려 바다로 Work up, think it, I just choke on 아사히 한잔 먹고 흥이 올라 흔들면 다 쌈바지 혀속까지 보라색 진이 마치 알라딘 All I want is ya, hey ya. All I want is hey ya, hey ya. Hundred ajaib. Branded ajaib. 벌컥벌컥 땡겨. I just choke on ajaib. 내가 많이 좋아해. 아자ib.
It's time for Wagga Wagga Tea Time. Haley's back.
Hello.
Yay! It's Friday.
Woohoo!
We're almost there. Huh. However, we got to get serious because another case of forced labor out of salt farms has been reported out of Cheonnam.
Right, so Cheonnam's Yeonggwang police said yesterday that it's passed 3 individuals to the prosecution on charges of assault, false imprisonment, and fraud. So these include a man in his 60s who owns the salt farm and 2 employees, 1 man and a woman, both in their 50s. So they together run and manage a salt farm in Yeonggwang County. They're all facing allegations of assaulting other employees and even allegedly gaslighting them to try to gain controls over them to prevent them from leaving the premises.
Wow is a word. Okay, so how did this case come to light and come under police investigation?
I mean, that is the unfortunate part, but here, thankfully, by pure coincidence. So the 3 victims are all men in their 50s and 60s. One of them apparently has a borderline developmental disability. They all worked at the farm so the shortest was 2 months for one guy and then 3 years for the other 2.
Okay.
So this case came under police attention purely by coincidence, as I said. Last month, they received a 112 call about somebody who looked like a homeless man just kind of wandering the streets. They went, took this man into the station and began to talk to him, interview him. He became aware that he was being ill-treated at work. This was, again, one of the men who lacks mental acuity for judgment and communication, according to the reports.
Okay.
So there's also cause to believe that they were not paid properly. So for that, the Gwangju Labor Office's judicial police are looking into that case.
I have to say, though, it's not the first time we've heard of a type of case like this in this area.
Right. So even this particular article, when I came across it and saw the title 염전 노예, so indentured servitude or even slavery from salt farms, I was like, oh, is this kind of a look back at what happened? And it was current, which was, again, very shocking.
Yes.
And actually, one suspect, speaking of shocking, in this case was convicted for a similar crime at a different salt farm in the area.
Oh.
So this particular case first appeared under public light, the salt farm cases 20 years ago under an investigative journalism program, prompting full-scale investigation. And then 2014, a similar case came out, widespread at 129 perpetrator.
Ooh.
And then it was found out that a worker with a disability had escaped a farm in 2021, revealing continued problems. And even last year, a worker who has developmental disabilities was found to have been so severely abused, this could be disturbing, that he lost most of his teeth.
Oh, goodness. Wow. So what is being done about this case?
So amid repeated human rights abuses, the Oceans and Fisheries Ministry and Cheonnam Province, they've decided to run a survey or inspection of all the salt farms across the region. So the province said it's launched a survey over human rights abuses across 714 farms that started earlier in the week. They're focusing on labor contracts, wages, disabilities of workers, and either coercion or assault. That labor contract part may be important because almost all of the previous worker exploitation cases involve those who were proverbially working under the table, so they did not sign contracts. But then smaller farms are said to be in blind spots because they only have 1 or 2 employees and they fall under through the cracks of Labor Standards Act.
Yes.
Also geographically, a lot of these farms are on these smaller islands. That also makes reporting by eyewitnesses, which is often the most common case, or even victims escaping, difficult.
Well, thank you for putting the spotlight on this story so we know what's going on. All right, on to our next topic. Summer along the Nakdong River means concerns about water quality, as well as algal blooms, which often worsen in the heat. And in Changwon, this has already become a problem.
Unfortunately, along the Nakdong River, the blue water turns somewhat green in the summer, and the Nakdong River Basin Environmental Office raised the algae alert level from attention to caution. That's across the Chilsa and the Mulgum Mary intake spots, and that's where Busan gets a lot of its water from too.
Yes.
This is upon a rise in the blue-green algal population that causes that algal bloom. So the algal bloom and then the subsequent water quality problems, they are persistent summertime issues in Busan and Gyeongnam, and these areas depend on the river for our water.
Yes.
In Changwon, there have already been reports of the smells coming out of the water system. So that kind of dirt/mold-like smell, it comes from a chemical called geosmin. This is produced when microorganisms break down material.
So the public health authorities, they are actually under criticism for their delayed response.
Unfortunately so. So environmental groups in Masan, Changwon, and Chine said this week that the problem actually began on June 12th. That's when people started to detect the smells. And to the point that people just couldn't cook with tap water, washing your rice with it.
Yes.
So it was only about a week later, on June 18th, that the city of Changwon began informing its residents to boil the water first. So what about those 6 days?
Yes.
In fact, geosmin was first detected out of Changwon's intake center in Chilsa on June 8th. And the levels doubled to the allotted levels in the span of 10 days to the 18th. So the environmental groups are saying the city is basically doing damage to its own public trust through these delayed responses.
Yes, because generally speaking, they say, oh, tap water is safe. But when we see stories like this, then we hesitate.
Right.
So, all right. Let's go to Japan for our next story, where the Unification Church has been ordered to be dissolved.
Right, so the Unification Church, that's 통일교 of Japan, has been ordered to disband. So it'll be no more. The Japanese Supreme Court on Monday local time, they upheld a lower court's ruling that ordered for the dissolution of this controversial religious group.
Yes.
So the justice said the order does not violate the Constitution, which guarantees freedom of religion and association. And this was a unanimous decision by all 4 justices on the bench. And it is the first time that the top court in Japan finalized its order to dissolve a religious group under the unlawful acts of the Civil Code.
Yes. Let's go back a little bit, though. How did this ruling come about?
This goes to the very big scandal, the assassination of former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe back in 2022. That attack is believed to have been motivated by the alleged ties between the political sphere and Abe and also the religious group.
Sure.
Because the shooter said that he was angry over his mother's continued monetary donations to the church to the point that it brought financial ruins for the family. So following year, upon a lot of public outrage, the Education Ministry filed for a court order to dissolve the church. And the Supreme Court years later found that the Unification Church's continued solicitation of donations from members that has hurt people financially and psychologically, and ruled that the group clearly committed acts that substantially harmed public welfare.
Right. So does this affect the church in South Korea?
Not directly, of course. These are two completely different jurisdictions and sovereign nations. However, the Unification Church's headquarters is in South Korea. It does affect them financially. And its leader, Han Akja, is undergoing trial right now for improper links between politics and religion.
Yes.
Actually, President Lee Jae-myung ordered for a legal review earlier to possibly dissolve the church for violating the principle of separation of church and state. The government at least is of the position that it could move to start dissolving the religious group pending special counsel's investigation. However, a lot of legal scholars say this will have to have a full-out court's order and a court ruling.
Yes. All right. We're going to leave those stories there. And now I have to ask our text topic to Haley. Favorite player, Korean, non-Korean?
Park Ji-sung?
Oh.
He's not current, but then I
was
know
commentating.
he's in Mexico commentating. So I'm like, why don't you just strap on a pair of shoes and start running?
Please?
Dude. Yeah. So
Please?
Yeah. But he just also don't know him personally, but seems like a good guy. Yeah.
I agree.
And then I love seeing Vinny Jr. thrive whenever because he's gone through some stuff it's
Lots of
not his
racist
fault.
attacks.
Yes, not his fault. Other people being terrible. But then when he's in Brazil on the national team, and he's great as captain. So I love seeing him thrive. So yeah.
Oh, you know much more than I thought.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you.
Well, now we're going to
That's all,
turn
though.
to. Do we have to? Yes, we do. It's
let's
news.
talk about my
It's
favorite
news.
vegetable. I like canned corn. Going back to the interview, I think canned corn is superior
good.
to corn on the cob.
I agree.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, but we cannot.
Oh.
We're going to talk about what happened yesterday.
You know, the big disappointment, the big shock for Team Korea and the fans because South Korea lost to South Africa 0-1. And that puts our chances of advancing on to the knockout rounds, round of 32, well, up to chance.
Yes.
And this was the shocker. Son Heung-min, for the first time in his entire World Cup career, was benched at the beginning of the match. And, I mean, even the first half. So can I just be snide again?
Okay.
There was a 50-minute block in the middle of the match where I had to go to class.
Right.
And that was the most peace of mind I had the entire morning. Because first half, 0-0 with no shots on target. And that was bad enough. The players also seemed kind of heavy. There wasn't much running. And I'm quoting the commentators.
Heavy, not like fat heavy, like,
but like
몸이 무겁다.
But like heavy. Like, why aren't you running? Like, you guys are all in very good shape.
Right.
And South Africa scored in minute 18 of the second half, so 63. In a post-game interview, Coach Hong, well, this was to the point, speaking of them not looking like they were in great shape, one of the reporters asked, were there like food poisoning issues? Because there was in the very first match. And Coach Hong said, no, everything is his fault. There were no health issues, nor does he want to blame the results on any outside issue.
Okay, so what's the big question? What's in store for South Korea?
Well, current status, Mexico for sure advances onto the knockout stages. South Africa, the surprise underdog in second place, also advancing on.
Yes.
Well, Mexico did their job for us. They repaid us for 2018 and beat Czechia. So South Korea is still in third place. So under the new rules, the top two teams, yes, advance on for sure. But then, as you said, there will be 8 third-place teams with the best records across the 12 groups to be added on. So we're going to have to wait and see. And I believe it's the 28th local time where all the group matches will be determined. But I mean, again, I'm quoting one of the commentators who said, it is embarrassing that we couldn't get there on our own.
Right. We need some help. Help. SOS. All right. Well, we're going to stay on soccer football. We're going to turn to Cristiano. They call him Ronaldo. I know in America they're Ronaldo, but it's a Ronaldo, who has made history.
Yes. So first, we talked about it with Andrew. It was 39-year-old Lionel Messi who set the all-time World Cup goal scoring record at 18. Now, Ronaldo has become the first player to score at 6 different World Cups. So this has been great for the veterans. And we don't even know if this is going to be their most likely the last World Cup, but final global match, we'll see. But this happened on Tuesday, the Portugal versus Uzbekistan match. The 41-year-old Ronaldo scored a double. And this is him overcoming the lukewarm performance in the opening 1-1 draw with the Democratic Republic of Congo. He came back strong, scored his first goal in minute 6.
Yes.
So, sit down because he has scored in 2006. 2010, 2014, 2018, 2022, and 2026. Although, because you might be wondering, wait, what about Messi? Well, he did play in every single one of the same World Cups. I'm not going to repeat the years, but he didn't score in 2010.
That's right.
So I do kind of like that these two greats are sharing records right now.
I love. All right. So now, I can't read some of the comments on air. However, we can play you this song after we say goodbye to Haley. So have a wonderful weekend.
Bye-bye.
Bye. I don't know what this means, but we're going to play this song, Swim, by BTS.
Swim, swim, water falling off your skin. Swim, swim, I could spend a lifetime watching you swim, swim. This is how it all begins. Swim, swim. I just wanna dive, I just wanna dive. Bad world, gone away. I still wake up in this bad world.
name a place that I can breathe on this map world. Looking like a goody in this bad world. Bad world, don't know how to act, girl. I'm in the deep, tell me where the hell you at, girl. Oh, you ain't even gotta love me back, girl. You know that I'm never holding back, girl. Yeah.
So easy, I made it so hard. Nights like these, I just wanna get lost. Right here with the moon and the stars. I ain't gotta think, but I think, baby, I just swim, swim. Wanna fall in love with your skin. Swim, swim. I could spend a lifetime watching you. Swim, swim. This is how it all begins. Swim, swim. I just wanna dive, I just wanna dive. Water so deep, water so deep. Take it off the ground, I ain't never getting cold feet. Yeah, you know me, yeah, you know me. Sitting on the shore, now I'm ready for the whole thing. I can feel the high waves coming. While you run away, you can run it. Sound on my tongue, she's stunning. You're the only place that I wanna be. Yeah, swim, swim. Water falling off your skin. Swim, swim. I could spend a lifetime watching you. Swim, swim, swim. This is how it all begins. Swim, swim. I just wanna dive, I just wanna dive. Splash, splash, river. Make waves with my two friends. Splash, river. I just wanna take it across the line. Under here, it'll change the time. Baby, everything can be so sad. Through my face from the west. I just wanna die, I just wanna die. Swim, swim. Water falling off your skin. Swim, swim. I could spend a lifetime watching you. Swim, swim, swim. Let it all begin. Swim, swim. I just wanna dive, I just wanna dive.
Traffic is so bad. Let's see what's on the radio.
Get the latest news and current issues that you need here on Morning Wave in Busan. You're now listening to Morning Wave in Busan with me, Catherine. Welcome back, everybody. It's now time for our final segment for today, for the entire week. We left the best for last. Can't get the words out of my mouth. We have Professor Andrew Millard in the studio. An 교수님, welcome, welcome. Yay.
What are you speechless that I'm
I
here
know. I am literally speechless. I'm verklempt. But how are you?
I'm fine. You're what? Verklempt? I've never heard that word in my life.
It's a Seinfeld reference, but sorry. I have a question for you, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, my question is your favorite. I know this is your favorite topic: soccer, football.
Football,
so, football, because it is FIFA. But your favorite player, whether he's from England or elsewhere,
or she,
yes,
it could be a she.
Yeah.
But no, you know what? I don't really watch football.
Sorry.
So
from where?
But I would say,
yes.
Does it have to be a current player, or could it be any player?
We'll let you choose current or past.
So I'm going to choose past. So actually, my grandfather was a football player.
Oh, really?
Professional football player back in the 1950s.
Wow.
Very successful.
And you don't watch football? Are you not?
But no.
Okay.
It kind of changed me, I think.
Oh,
because
really?
my grandfather used to play in the 1950s when it was real football.
When it was real.
Because this was like post-World War II.
Okay.
So it wasn't for the money. It was
for
football.
For the love of the game.
Exactly.
Yes.
Whereas now it's all about money. And it's all changed a lot.
So is it your grandfather?
So my grandfather definitely won.
Yes.
But I never saw him play, of course. But I would say from growing up, I really liked Park Ji-sung.
Oh.
Not just because he's Korean.
Yes.
But I liked his work ethic.
Oh,
And I think
yes.
Son Heung-min is similar.
Yeah,
they
that
work
work ethic.
very hard.
That's true.
You see a lot of players, especially in England. I'm not sure about the other leagues.
Yes.
But especially in England, the Premier League, some are quite lazy.
Yes, and a little cocky.
Yeah. So I liked Park Ji-sung just for his mentality.
What was his nickname?
work.
Three Lung Park or something? Because he just ran and ran and ran.
Yeah, he worked hard. He ran a lot. So I like that.
Well, thank you for sharing.
My pleasure. See you next week.
Bye. Well, before you go, we got to talk a little bit about our topic. This is global affairs. So what are we covering today?
Well, this has been in the news. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yes.
But it's been 10 years. Now, if you read the news, they say it's 10 years since Brexit.
Okay.
But something we need to clarify, it's been 10 years since the referendum.
Oh, the vote.
So since the vote on Brexit.
Okay.
So 2016
Right.
in June, I think it was June the 23rd, exactly. This was the referendum. So this was when people in the UK voted very simply either yes or no to stay in the European Union or to leave
I
the
have a
European
question.
Union.
Is this a happy anniversary?
Yes and no. So this one, basically, because it's been 10 years now,
Yes.
and again, since the vote, officially only 5 years since we actually left the EU
Yes.
and could do our own things. But a lot of people from the very start were saying, oh, is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? So it's been very hard to tell up until now because there's been no real data.
Sure.
Okay. Also, what we should include is, again, since it's only been 5 years since we officially withdrew and basically left EU law
Okay.
and could do our own trade deals and things like that, in that past 5 years, there's been several different, what can we say, issues, global events.
Right.
So, of course, COVID was a big one.
Right.
And that hit the global economy very
Absolutely.
hard. And then we've had the Ukraine war, the energy crisis, more recently the Iran war.
Yes.
So all of these have had a big effect on the economies. So it's been quite difficult to say, because of Brexit, because the UK left the EU, this is exactly how it has impacted the UK's economy. Okay. However, because it's been now 5 years and all of these other issues, so COVID, the Ukraine war, blah, 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 these have been more global issues. So all countries have been affected by this.
Yes.
So effectively, what we're starting to see now is there's a few different reports coming out from banks and so on, basically using the data, comparing with other countries.
Yes.
So then we can see these patterns, and so we can sort of take a look at how the UK is relatively doing compared to these other countries. And so what we're starting to see is a lot of data. Mostly it's not looking too good for the UK.
Overall? Okay.
Overall.
Well, can we get into some of the specifics, the details of what this has been like for the past 5 years?
So, according to... Now, there's a few different reports. And
Okay.
again, as always, if you read all the reports, all the numbers, they're all slightly different.
Sure.
Because they're all using slightly different sets of data
Of
from
course.
different institutions.
The metrics are different, yes.
But generally, we can see that exports from the UK to the EU are down by around 15%.
15.
26% reduction in the types of exports. And 31.5% reduction in imports from the EU into the UK.
I see.
So generally, we're looking, in terms of general trade, around a reduction of about 15%, between 10 and 15% in
Yes.
general,
Okay.
which is a significant amount because the EU was pretty much the UK's biggest trading partner.
Right. It is significant. It is not insignificant. I mean, that number, right?
So in terms of, if we put this in money, I didn't translate this or convert this into Korean won. My
Yes.
apologies. But it's basically annually down by around 29 billion pounds.
29 billion pounds.
I don't know how much that is in
Right.
Korean won.
Okay.
One pound is 2,000 Korean won.
Okay,
So
so
for
just
those at
double
home,
it?
you could do your own
double
maths.
Double the math.
Double the maths
numbers.
and add a few noughts.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So we have that. However, the one positive is that actually services have done much better. So services are up from the UK to the EU by 57%, which is a significant increase.
Yes.
And also from the EU, into the UK, also up 35%.
That sounds
So-
much rosier than the other.
So yeah. Which is good for the UK because
Yes.
the UK generally is more of a service economy these days, especially finance and law and consultancy. Those are really the main areas where we've seen these growths. But again, when it comes to basic trade, it's definitely in the negative.
Oh, we have an answer for you. 29 billion pounds equals 59 trillion Korean won. It just sounds much bigger when we have like the trillion.
The trillions, yeah.
And the Korean won. 59조 원입니다. Ah, that is significant.
So it's a loss,
Yes.
for sure. Now, again, we can't be exactly sure of this,
Yes.
but generally, and again, this is not just from one sort of research analysis, this is several different, all separate, independent ones.
Well, what about like the trade deals? Because after Brexit, I mean, things changed for the UK, right?
Right. So actually, when we talk about Brexit, we have to look at the reasons why. And the main reason was basically the EU, the institutions were becoming very powerful. And the EU institutions, basically, they make all of the decisions. In particular, when it comes to trade, when you join the EU, the national governments have no competency, so no decision-making power over trade. It's all decided in Brussels. So the UK didn't really like this, as well as several other issues.
Right.
And so the main reason they left, or one of them, was if we leave the EU, then we can make our own trade deals with every country around the world. So like with South Korea, initially they followed the one they had, but then they renewed it, so they now have a UKE Korea FTA.
Right, so like economic autonomy, basically.
Effectively, yes. However, the problem is a lot of countries around the world actually follow EU standards.
Yes.
So even though when we have reduced tariffs, actually when it comes to safety standards and health standards and all of these what we call non-tariff barriers,
yes,
a lot of countries, so for example, Australia, New Zealand and so on, which are traditionally very big importers and exporters with the UK,
right,
they're still following the EU regulations. So the UK basically left the EU thinking, perfect, now we can have our own trade deals, we can reduce tariffs, we can have more trade with all of these other countries, reduce regulations. But actually what has happened is, because the other countries are following the EU regulations,
yes,
the UK still has to follow all the EU regulations.
So
but
in
reality, they now have to follow the same regulations, but with more paperwork.
Oh, no.
Effectively. So the transaction costs, the time it takes has increased. This is leading to more costs. So this is what is reducing the trade between the UK and the EU and all of these other countries.
Right.
So tariffs, FTAs, they sound very nice.
Yes.
But actually, when you start looking at the regulations and the non-tariff barriers, actually it's very complicated.
Yes, it sounds very complex indeed. Well, we're almost out of time, so I do need to ask you, is there a chance in the future, near or far, that the UK might rejoin the EU in terms of...
Never say never. Right now, no.
Okay.
Just because it's been only a few years since we had the vote, and there's still a lot of anti-EU sort of thinking in the UK sentiment. But never say never. The only thing is, if the UK does ever decide to rejoin the EU,
yes,
it would lose some of its privileged positions that it had previously. So the UK was one of only 2 countries which didn't have to join the Eurozone.
Yes.
So this we call an opt-out.
Right.
So the UK and Denmark, if the UK rejoins, it loses that opt-out.
I see.
It must join the Euro. And there's several different things like that. So it would join in a much weaker position.
Yes.
And so I think...
Unlikely.
For the next generation, I would
Yes.
say unlikely.
I see.
But we never know.
Well, time will tell.
Time will
If
tell.
we're still on air, we'll
In
cover
10
that,
years' time, we'll be back for an
For part
update.
2. Well, thank you so much for helping us mark Brexit, good or bad, to go over what happened and what we might expect in the near future.
My pleasure.
So thank you. Have a wonderful weekend.
See you next week.
Everybody, this was Professor Andrew Millard. It's also time to actually say goodbye for the entire week. This song is our final song, Everybody's Changing by Keen. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye, everybody.
beautiful art. 'Cause everybody's changing and I don't feel right.